So the Federal Reserve has many functions, those of which include the regulation of banks and that they give people faith in our financial system. Their involvement with banks, however, include the discount rate and the reserve requirements. So with the discount rate, is essentially when banks need money because they don't have enough to currently give out. They borrow this money from the Federal Reserve, so the Federal Reserve lets them borrow that money with a certain interest rate that they must pay back. Whereas with the reserve requirement, they set the percentage that banks must hold on to, which means that they can't loan this percentage out. And then in order to control the money supply, with the discount rate, they can decrease that, which will shift to the right, or increase the money supply. They can increase the discount rate, which will decrease the money supply. With reserve requirements, they can decrease the money supply, they can decrease the reserve requirements and increase the money supply, or they can increase reserve requirements and decrease the money supply. And with open market operations, they can sell bonds, which will decrease the money supply, or they can buy bonds, which will increase the money supply. So in order to close an inflationary gap, there are some steps that the Federal Reserve could take. They could increase the reserve ratio, increase the discount rate, or they could sell bonds. This would all be done in order to decrease the money supply, which would increase interest rates, decrease investments, and in turn decrease the aggregate demand. So this would shift back over to equilibrium, which would also cause a decrease in the price level. In order to close a recessionary gap, the Federal Reserve would have to decrease the reserve ratio, decrease the discount rates, or buy bonds. And this would all be done in order to increase the money supply, which would increase the interest rates, increase investments, which would in turn increase aggregate demand. So this would shift over to the right, back over to full employment, and in turn increase the price level.